Morning and welcome. This is Skwya Franklin. I'm going to take you through the process for fashion design, the creative process for fashion design. And this is basically the essential steps you have to go through to come up with a final product. Yeah, so without wasting much time, let's go through these steps one at each time. The first step is a theme. A theme is basically the key concept or is it's the central idea that influences the design, styling, and presentation of a collection or individual pieces. A theme is what provides a cohesive and distinctive direction, often inspired by cultural or historical or artistic references. Yeah, so a theme is vital. It creates direction. It steers you to, or it actually keeps you in line throughout the whole process. And how do you come up with a theme if you don't have one already? Because you can be invited to an event that has a developed theme, and then you have to create pieces that actually coincide with the theme, and then you showcase in that event. But let's assume you're a typical fashion designer and you want to come up with an idea or maybe a clothing line or something like that. So it means you have to come up with a theme. And how do you come up with a theme? Uh, I have this technique. It's pretty much the primary or basic technique of coming up with a theme, and it's mind mapping. Where you come with the key concept. As you can see here, this can be anything, and then you start developing, your theme from the key concept. So this one illustrates that you write something big and conceptual in the middle. For instance, let's say something like Africa, and then create random acronyms pointlessly out of ideas, draw pictures. What's the picture of Africa, and you can come up with things like black, green, safari, Sahara, pretty much anything, and then you can later arrive at something you can work with, like the Sahara print, the safari print, or something like that. And after developing a theme, you can move to the next stage, which is now coming up with ideas and finding inspirations for your for your pieces, for your fashion pieces that you are about to create. And so in fashion, inspiration refers to the creative stimulus or resource of influence behind a collection, design, or aesthetic direction. It can come from various sources such as art, culture, nature, or personal experiences, shaping the overall concept and mood of the work. I think inspiration is for fashion designer, inspiration is critical, and I don't know, does imitation count as inspiration? Maybe that's a question for you. So, but inspiration is really crucial if you want to come up with a great story. And sometimes you can't get inspired all the time, and sometimes we need to work daily or all the time. So you just have to go. That's why we have this process which can help you come up with something without necessarily getting inspiration, because you can sit around and wait for inspiration. So you have to come up with inspiration and ideas which can come from anywhere, from music, you know which is in art and culture and nature. It could be anything. So after coming up with inspirations, and you have put together everything else that you might want your final product to look like or to seem like. I remember you're building a story. So this is the second story. This is the second step of building this story, and the next step is okay. These are examples of inspirations. As you can see here, this piece of creation is definitely inspired by. I don't even to tell you. This one is inspired by flowers, as well as this one. This one is these are bees. So this nature inspired creations. These are extra inspirations. This one is beautiful. Wow. Yes, as you can see, this one is inspired by the Pepsi can. And this one here is inspired by an idea. You can see here Candice Owens, White Lives Matter. I don't need to go to the entire story. It's super interesting and makes a lot of sense. You have to go to check out the inspiration behind the White Lives Matter, as explained by, yeah. So, yeah, I think it's pretty much a good idea. So, let's move to the next step, I hope, which is yeah, the mood board. Yeah, a mood board is a summary of your collections, inspiration, and theme. Yeah, so a mood board is basically a design tool that will help you remain focused and consistent as your line develops. Remember, you're building a story and you need that consistency. You need to stay consistent in your story. So, it's basically a summary of your whole story, because if I look at your mood board, I can definitely get an idea of what you want to communicate. So these are the key components of a mood board, which include a theme or title, materials, materials, that type of fabrics that will be used in creating these pieces of products, and then inspirations. We have looked at some, and then the color scheme. So as you can see, the mood, it sets a mood for a style, feeling, emotional scenario, ambience, presence, context for whatever the final product will be. So it helps a designer to conceptualize a theme. Remember, we came up with a theme earlier, and the mood board is going to help you to give your ideas more life. Yeah. So the theme can be translated into life through the following mediums on board. This board is going to be full of images, and these images could be from magazine tears, fabric swatches, old photos, buttons, ribbons, and basically any visual reference you desire. It could be anything. This is a story you're telling, and it's your story, so you're going to have anything you wish on this board. So just as a painter portrays his mood on a canvas, the designer pours out his creativity on a mood board that set the stage for product development. Yeah, so it's also a great communication aid when explaining your vision to other retailers, media, etc., etc. So it could be you are trying to explain this idea to a friend, and what's going to help you communicate this idea better than a mood board. Yeah, so it can help you communicate this to retailers or people that are giving you an opportunity, and these are crucial. So crucial thing to have in your portfolio as a fashion designer. And here are examples of a mood board. Yeah, this is a mood board. They obviously don't have the title or theme; they're just samples. But a typical mood board also have a title, which is a theme, and then you can see things like magazine tears on this side. You can see the fabric swatches, few sketches here and there, and the color scheme, and also the color wheel and the color palette can work as a color scheme. There's really no problem with that. Yeah, this is a typical example of a mood board. Yeah. So on to the next stage, which is sketching. So after coming up with all these other things, you have the inspiration, you have your ideas, you have a theme, you have a mood board. You are going now to put, you're actually to make this idea, to give more life to these ideas, and you're going to come up with sketches. And sketching refers to the process of creating quick, rough drawings of clothing designs, and these sketches help designers visualize their ideas, explore different concepts, and communicate their vision to others in the industry. We have basically types of sketches. We have float or flat sketches, which they represent a garment's silhouette and movement. And we also have the render sketches, which help fashion designers in the fashion industry to create images of garments that have not yet been made. This allows designers to see how garment will look on a model without having to make the garment. So this gives you a visual impression of what the final product would look like, and then on these sketches, maybe you can make adjustments, uh, editings, all the necessary things you need to do before you start creating the actual garment. So these are sample sketches. These are human body figures, not a sketch. It's not a okay, it's not a sketch per se because it's not dressed. It's an illustration of a male body form that is not, that has no design on it yet. So this can help you put a design on it if you're not a great, drawer. You have to use that. These are sample sketches. These are more sketches, and it's always a good idea when coming up with sketches to come up with a front and back and maybe a side view. We have more sketches. These type of sketches are rendered. I mean, they have color. They're more clear. As you can see, this final piece of product is going to be blue, green, black, pink. Yeah, this color. There's more life into these types of sketches, and you can have, hand drawn sketches or tech packs or computer aided designs. I'm about to get to that in the next step. So a tech pack is an illustrated work order that details all the essential elements for a garment. Yeah, so this it actually helps you become sure of what you want to put into the garment. So it highlights all the body parts of a piece of garment. So you can see here we have a one piece hood, a tag, internal sewing tag with brand name and size, cover seaming stitch. It actually explains the whole design, different parts. These are some for tech pack. As you can see, drawstring with plastic finish. It's very specific. It's very on point. Hidden zipper, use yoke zipper, embroidered patch, kangaroo pocket. Yeah, definitely it basically highlights the essential parts, not just the essential parts, all the parts of a garment, what is going to be put where and which material are we going to use here and everything on the garment. Yeah, so we can have hand drawn sketches and tech packs, or we can use the computer aided designs. We can use Illustrator or Canvas to come up with our sketches and tech packs. And then the next stage is fabric sourcing. Now you have the theme, you have the inspirations, you have your mood board, you have the sketches. So it means you have the whole thing set down. You have the measurements, you have the function, the occasion, you have the right size. So you also know the type of material, size of material, quality of material you need to use there, and support materials. Support materials, things like zippers, buttons, threads, and any other supportive material or equipment that can be used in coming up with a final product. And hence, the final thing you need before fabric sourcing is the budget. This comes in the size, the quality, and all those things. And then the next stage is you can make a trial garment. Yeah, you can make a trial garment, or if you're social with your work, you can move to the next stage, which is garment construction. Garment construction can be made through machine stitching or draping. These are a machine. These are machine, and these are these are drapers. These are draping mannequins. So we have different forms of draping mannequins for kids, for women, for men, for expectant moms, and all of that. And then here is the entire creative process represented in an infographic. Yeah, and you have to understand that the creative process can differ from person to person, but this is pretty much the standard procedure. And yeah, I think by that you're pretty set, to rock the show, to launch your clothing line, or complete your school assignment, or you know basically complete the assignment, get the work done. Yeah, get the work done. And sometimes you can have you can have a great idea, comes from I don't know where, it just comes from the universe, and then you create a great piece of garment. And then later in life, or a few weeks later, a few months later, a year later, the meaning of this garment you created reveals itself to you, much like life imitating art. So see, this doesn't happen pretty much often, and that's why we need a process like this, to be sure every day to get the work done. So thank you for making it to the end of this video. This pretty much this is courtesy of the Odell department, uh, Fab, and it's part of our completion of our course, by the way. So thanks for making it to the end, and see you next time.